Hi! Look, I know you're here for my hair. Trust me, I've completely lost my mind. But anyway, I'm Kat and on here we are talking about true crime and I'll also be doing my makeup at the same time. Today we are talking about a mystery or mystical or folk or whatever you wanna call it, and I will be doing my makeup at the same time. And I also have a word in Romanian for you. So let's start with the word. The word for today is Dragoste. 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 Well done, guys. You just said love. You guys have asked me for more videos on traditions, folklore and so on, and because this is kind of last minute with Valentine's Day fast approaching, I remembered that there is a Romanian Day of Love and it's not actually Valentine's Day. I promise that my next video on mysteries and mystical will be focused on another part of the world, but for today I saw this fitting with the season of love. Just a quick disclaimer though before we start, bear in mind that some of the words I'm translating them literally, so in English it might not sound right or correct, mainly because there are certain words in Romanian which don't exist in English, so I'm trying my best to kind of give you the explanation or the closest meaning of the word. Also, a lot of things that I'm telling you, even I am learning them at the same time as you are. There are so many traditions that I had no idea even existed before I started doing my research for these videos. So, the birthday of Dragobete, the god of youth, harmony and love, has ancient origins, and this was taken from Dacian traditions and transformed into the protector of young people and the patron of love. Now, if you would be translating Dragobete using Google Translate, it would give you the translation as Valentine's Day, but describing the word, I would say it's rather an endearing term. Drag means dear, and bete in some parts of the country is used to describe a group of people, like a gathering. Now, in Romanian language, you do have a grammatical gender. You have feminine and masculine, whereas in English you don't. The Old English has, but not the one we use today. So it's very difficult to translate the actual meaning of the word, and the word in Romanian is also plural, Dragobete. However, it's used to portray the god of youth, not a goddess, so it's not feminine, and not more than one, so it's not plural. I'm not getting deeper into it because it will just get confusing, and also Romanian etymologists who study words, I don't know if I pronounce that word correctly, say that they can't be entirely sure of the actual origin of the word. So, you know, I just say let's just leave it there. Similar to popular legends, it seems that Dragobete, also called the beginning of spring or the impetuous or the fiancé of birds, was none other than Baba Dokia's son. Remember that we talked in our previous video about Mărțișor and the arrival of spring and such? According to some legends, Baba Dokia was actually the daughter of the Dacian king Decebal. Baba Dokia's son, Dragobete, was a really handsome guy and so loving that he would seduce any woman who came into contact with him. So, Dragobete to this day remains the supreme symbol of love in Romania. Dragobete is a traditional Romanian holiday celebrated every year on the 24th of February, less than a month before the spring equinox. This day was chosen as a celebration of love because biologists say that this is when the mating of non-migratory birds begins. If we picture two birds sitting beak to beak, the empty space between them will form the shape of a heart. So this is the time when the birds start to rebuild their nests, The trees start to bloom and the plants come back to life as the snow melts. The god Dragobete can be easily compared to the gods of love, Eros from Greek mythology or Cupid from Roman mythology. However, there is a huge difference. Unlike Eros or Cupid, Dragobete never got involved in a couple's relationship. It's said that he never used his powers to get people to fall in love with each other. Rather, he was just blessing the love and support the couple. In certain areas, Dragobete was believed to be the saint patron of birds, the holiday being linked to fertility and the rebirth of nature. Legend has it that Baba Dokia, whilst she was tending to her sheep in the mountains one night, the mountain spirit fell in love with the young woman and kissed her in her sleep. 9 months later, she gave birth to a boy whom she named Dragobete. Also known as Dragomir, the young man is described as a half man, half angel, beautiful and immortal. It's said that he walks the earth just like other mythological creatures and demigods, but regular people are not able to see them due to the degradation of the society that we live in. Baba Dokia, after Dragobete is born, calls for ursitoare, more precisely the 4 seasons, who gifted the newborn love and ability of cheering people up with his whistle, or perhaps it's a better translation, his flute. The ursitoare in Romanian mythology are supposed to appear 3 nights after a child's birth to determine the course of the child's life. They are similar to the Greek fates or moirai. A few years after Dragobete was born, a wise old man called him to the mountain to teach him a couple of things about plants with healing powers, the language of the birds, and the language of the forest. This was said and done, and for years Dragobete delighted people with his flute and appeared in men's dreams, teaching them the secrets of love. After his death, legend says that he was transformed into a spring plant called Scolopendrium vulgare, more commonly hart's tongue fern. The holiday of Dragobete has a rich and interesting symbolism. Dragobetele in its essence combines both the beginning and the end. The beginning of a new season and the revival of nature, the end of earthly pleasures because the holy fast of Easter begins. Dragobetele actually starts with a game called Zburătorit, loosely translated as flyer. Both boys and girls would dress up in festive attire and meet in front of the village church. From this moment, their real adventure begins. They would go to a nearby forest in search of the colorful spring flowers that were barely making their way through the snow. Boys who find strawberry blossoms are considered the luckiest. These flowers are believed to contain magical powers. They are made into bouquets or placed in a bowl of water that is used by girls to wash their hair while reciting a magical poem. At noon, they all run back to the village, and if a boy likes a girl, the custom is to chase the girl and catch her. If she lets herself caught, the feelings are mutual. They would kiss as a symbol of the beginning of the love relationship between the two of them, more precisely their engagement. Then, in the evening, they would announce their engagement to the rest of the village community and their families. This is their promise that they will get married in 1 year, and if this doesn't happen, they would have to play the game all over again the following year. This is where the saying Dragobetele kisses girls was born.
De fagă să asculte cu drag. Floare cu floare, petală cu petală, te culegem până de seară, te trecem prin foc, să aduci la fete noroc.
In the old days, it was traditional for boys and girls to go to the hills near the village at night to light bonfires where they would sit around them, talk and enjoy themselves until the morning. The idea was to walk through the forest to collect snowdrops, but also other early spring flowers. During the festive season, young men and women would take to the forest path to collect snowdrops, which they would then include in the charms and rituals of the celebration, which would have been completed with the discovery of the person destined to be their love. If you are already in a relationship on this day, even if you are with your other half, just for a few seconds on this day, it's said that you will be together for the whole year. If you are single though, and he's the one you dream of, talk to him on this day and he will open his eyes and really see you. If you see a hoopoe bird on this day, you will be lucky for the rest of the year, and if you see a pair of birds, you will always be loved. If you pick snowdrops, it's said that how many snowdrops you bring home, that's how many small chicks you'll have on your farm throughout the year. Those who respect the tradition and they take part in this game are considered to be blessed for the year. They will have riches, they will be safe from disease, and they will be happy. According to certain superstitions among the elders, those who don't celebrate this day are punished by not being able to love that year. If the weather is gloomy on this day, if it's very cold, raining or snowing, the young people gather in a house to party, make friends, play games and make jokes. In certain areas, young girls used to cast spells to make their love rivals look ugly and undesirable. In some villages, the traditions are even more personal. On the day of Dragobete, young boys and girls would make a small cut in the shape of a cross on their forearms, and they would overlap their markings in order to become blood brothers or sisters. This ceremony is also performed by swearing oaths of loyalty or by brotherly hugs and kisses. Those who become blood brothers would then organize a feast for all their friends in order to celebrate. The Dragobete Day would have been, our ancestors believed, the last day of winter, the one in which the birds constantly flew in the sky to celebrate the engagement of the birds. So, out of respect for the birds, the eldest of the village gives special care to the animals on the farm, but of course also to the birds. They believe that on this day the birds choose their mate for life and rush to build their nests. At the end of winter and beginning of spring, Dragobete officiates the wedding of the birds in the sky. People are not allowed to slaughter animals or kill any kind of birds on this day. It's believed that if you sacrifice a bird on their day, you interrupt their mating ritual and they will lose each other. So if you do it, then you will have bad luck and bad energy in your household. Any kind of work like weaving, sewing, heavy household chores are not allowed on this day. However, instead cleanliness is allowed, as it's considered to bring growth and freshness. In certain parts of the country, some young people get engaged and they make promises of being faithful to each other and loving. Another tradition focuses on the last flakes of snow left on the ground. In old times, there was a custom for young unmarried girls to get the leftover snow, the snow known as fairy snow. The water from the melting snow was considered to have magical properties in love and love spells, but also in beauty rituals. It was believed that this snow was born from the smile of fairies. The girls washed their faces with this water to become as beautiful and attractive as the fairies. On this day, girls, they need to meet with boys, otherwise they will have no love at all throughout the whole year. At the same time, in the villages, it was believed that girls who touch a boy from a neighboring village will be affectionate all year round. In certain villages of Romania, the roots of the hellebore flower are dug up from the ground, which people later use as a medicine to cure certain diseases. This flower, actually, the hellebore, is used in the pharmaceutical industry in the production of medicine for heart disease. It's also used as an ornamental plant in parks and gardens in small or large groups. It grows immediately after frost or if the temperature is favorable. As part of Dragobete, men have to be friendly with women on this day. They are not allowed to trouble women or have any kind of arguments, otherwise they will have an unlucky spring and a very bad year ahead. Just a quick side note here, guys, when I refer to boys and girls, I actually refer to young men and women, so nothing under the age of, I don't know, 16 or anything like that. So it's basically, you know, girls and boys who are young adults and they're looking for love and things like that. Both boys and girls, men and women, they have to be happy on this day, so they have love throughout the rest of the year. If they want their love to stay strong throughout the year, young couples must kiss on this day. You are not allowed to cry on this day. It's said that the tears that flow on this day bring troubles and upsets in the months to come. In some areas of the country, the eve of Dragobete is similar to the symbolism of the Epiphany night. I'm hoping that my light is okay and the video is not too bright. Quite honestly, I don't see it properly until I'm editing the video, because on my camera screen it kind of looks okay, but then I'll go on the computer and I'll see that it's too bright, so I'm always having issues with the light. Each time I have to reset the light and all the settings that I have, so sorry and apologies if it's too bright, but fingers crossed it's not. Young girls who are curious to find out their destined man will place holy basil under their pillow, believing that Dragobetele will help them find true love. Young people on this day must drink tea made from cherry tails and eat cake made from crushed hemp seeds, so that they will have love during the year. According to a very old tradition, housewives had to grow basil and then look after the seedlings until St. George's Day, when they would plant them outside in the garden. The basil would be used for spells and treatments because it was considered to have magical powers. Usually every year on 23rd of April we have a celebration called Sfântul Gheorghe or Saint George. He is considered to be a god of harvest, a protector of nature, cattle and sheep. Saint George, the great martyr, was born in Cappadocia in a Christian family of Greek origin and lived during the reign of Emperor Diocletian. For Romanians, Saint George is one of the most present saints. Numerous churches are dedicated to him. There are many cities in Romania that have the name of Saint George, and even one of the 3 branches of the Danube is named as that. The image of Saint George slaying the dragon is also present on the flag of medieval Moldavia, sent by Stephen the Great to the Zografu monastery on Mount Athos. Saint George is also the patron saint of the land forces of the Romanian army. The legend that the saint killed a dragon to save a maiden is a late medieval legend. Often, however, recent iconography shows the saint on horseback sparing a dragon, perhaps only symbolically. Some scholars, however, are of the opinion that it's only a late takeover of the Greek myth about Perseus and Andromeda. It's believed that Saint George and Saint Dumitru have a cosmic pact. When the frogs start singing for the first time, Saint George takes the keys from Saint Dumitru to open the way for nature to come to life. In the morning of Saint George, the head of the family, always a man, places around the house windows, doors, in the gardens and on the resting places in cemeteries green branches. This way it's believed that people, cattle and crops are protected from evil forces. The green branches would be kept throughout the year to be used as cures for disease. They would also be added to animal food in the belief that they will be protected from evil spirits. One day before St. George's Day, women who are ready to get married believe they can see their soulmate on this night if they would look in a bowl made out of green branches filled with water. There's also a custom on the morning of 23rd of April for the young women to place in the middle of the road green branches decorated with wreath, to see which young man steps on them. If the man they loved didn't step on the wreaths, the women believed that they would get married in that year. The branches and wreaths would be kept the whole year to cast love spells and to be used as cures for different illnesses. Also, in the morning, the young ladies would sneakily go in the forest to pick mandrake and hartstang fern. These plants would be placed in the loft under the eave of the house in the belief that they would bring rich suitors. The young man would go looking for white swallowwort, a miraculous plant which could destroy locks. In the eve of the celebration, they would go in a forest with a bowl filled with water which would be hidden in a place only known by them. As soon as the sun would rise in the morning, each of them would look in their bowl. If the water in the bowl had grass inside, they believed they would marry the girl they loved. If in the water they would find a dry flower, it was a sign that the young man wouldn't marry that year. And if they would find soil inside, it was believed that the young man would sadly die soon. Married women would go in the forest picking plants only known by them, and they would add these plants in the animals' food, believing that the cattle would give more milk and of better quality. No one is allowed to sleep on this day, and if they do, they would feel sleepy throughout the year. Nettling is also practiced. You know the nettle plant? Yes, the plant. The nettle, it's believed that if young men would actually nettle themselves, as in rub the nettle on themselves, they would get sharper, more hardworking and healthier throughout the whole summer. Out of all of these customs, in the traditional villages, only the custom of adding green branches to the houses is still being practiced. Despite the great worldwide success of Valentine's Day, Romania is still quite attached to its age-old traditions, so Dragobete and Saint Valentine are kind of forced to learn to coexist. Some people celebrate only Valentine's Day, others celebrate Dragobete, and those that are really madly in love, they celebrate both. But unlike Valentine's Day, Dragobete is not only about roses, heart-shaped chocolate, jewelry and love letters. Be tender to your significant other, show them your appreciation and your love not through material objects but through your attention and your presence. Some of the old traditions advise us on how to behave on this day in order to celebrate it properly, as I mentioned previously. First of all, both young girls and boys are not supposed to cry or complain. According to the tradition, those who do so will bring nothing but sorrow and trouble to themselves in the following months. Secondly, at least on this day, men should not annoy women, otherwise their love life might just fall apart. Housekeeping or working is also not recommended, but like I said, you can however clean your house. But if there is one thing that you should definitely avoid, that is sacrificing animals. It's believed that in doing so will damage their mating ritual and might have a long-term negative impact on the household. Dragobete is a holiday that also includes those who are single. So if you don't have a significant other, there is no need to despair. Tradition says that if you meet and hug at least one person that you are attracted to, your love life will make a turn for the best. So asking your crush on a date for Dragobete might not be such a bad idea. I don't know how I did my lips the way that I did, but I can't fix it because I'm just gonna mess everything up and it's just gonna be red all around my mouth. So I'm not gonna fix it now because, oh, they look horrible. The youth organization of the Liberal Party from the Republic of Moldova, which is Romania's sister, has been organizing an annual demonstration in the center of the capital since 2006 to actually promote the Dragobete celebration. The president, Sergiu Boghean, believes that only by promoting it, it will turn into a national celebration. Quote, "I'm glad that many people know what holiday we are celebrating today, and I think it won't take long until this custom will be revived here as well. Through today's action, we want to make known the fact that we have our holiday inherited from the Dacians, and it would be a shame to lose our traditions." End of quote. I don't know if I should put my hair down. It's probably gonna look curly, but curly doesn't really fit me. Oh, I hate that curly doesn't fit me because I really love curly hair. I think I'm gonna give it a go just to see how it looks. After 1990, Romanians imported from Western Europe Valentine's Day, celebrated on February 14. However, there were also controversies of this tradition, some people giving more importance to the preservation of local traditions and implicitly the celebration of Dragobete Day on February 24th in its place. Some publications or companies started to run pro-Dragobete campaigns under the slogan "On Dragobete, love the Romanian way." Don't even know where it fell. Oh God. This looks horrendous. I look like an 80-year-old woman. With all this being said, it's obvious that in Romania, February is indeed the month of love. After many years of silence during the communist era, Dragobete is rapidly recovering his rightful place, reminding people to never stop loving each other in the old-fashioned Romanian way. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video with me, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Whether you are in a relationship or you are single, just know that you are not alone, and some way or another you will find your love. Please let me know what did you think about this video in the comment section down below. If you are also interested in any of the makeup that I use for today's video, all of the products are linked in the description under the video. I also do take true crime case suggestions and also mystery case suggestions. So if you have any kind of suggestion in particular that you want me to cover, be it a mystery, folklore or whatever else you can think of, or a true crime case, just let me know any details in the comment section down below under the video. For now, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to love each other. Bye!